Okay. All right, let's cancel this one. All right, and let Ben in. Okay, here we go. All right, we did it. All right, you're muted. Can you turn your mic on?
Hey,
All right, awesome, awesome. Now we are ready to go. So I want to thank you for taking this time to have this conversation with me. And before we get started with our conversation, I just want to give an overview to the class on what we're doing. And so I am Stephanie Wardlaw, and I am a member of the first group that's going to be presenting a lesson for our contemporary trends in workforce education. And my group members are Carol Barrick and Allison Lloyd. And our topic that we're going to be discussing this week is entitled Connecting Learning to Work. And we thought it would be a great idea to speak with um, to hear the perspective of connecting learning to work from a college and career academy CEO and CTAE director. And so I asked Mr. Ben Lanier to join me for this conversation. And our conversation will be dealing with connecting learning to work, but from the perspective of collaboration between CTAE teachers within the department and collaboration between CTAE teachers and academic teachers. We know that when we go to work, we are not isolated within a subject area. All of our subjects are tied together when we actually go to work. And so, based off of those things, we are going to get started with our conversation with Mr. Lanier. And so the first thing that we want him to do is to give some of his background information, his school affiliation, his professional background and experience, his career path, and how long he's been a part of the College and Career Academy.
okay. My name is Ben Lanier. As I said, I am the CEO of Dublin City Schools College and Career Academy and the CTAE director for our system. I am a product of Dublin City Schools from pre-K till 12th grade, proud graduate of Dublin High School. I then went to the University of Georgia, where I got my bachelor's and my master's degree. So I am a double dog. I got my master's in public administration with an emphasis in higher ed and local government administrations. So after I finished my master's program, I had done an internship in my program with our local development authority here in Dublin. And I really liked the work of economic development. But what really interested me the most was workforce development because Dublin had had a lot of success in kind of outkicking our coverage, if you were, with getting some really impressive industries for the size community that we are. But as is the case everywhere across the country, we were struggling with workforce. And so my project that summer was a business retention and expansion survey where I went around and, spoke to all the existing industry and, you know, basically asked, like, from a development authority perspective, how could we serve their needs? And I would venture to say over 80% of them said that the workforce was in crisis mode or about to enter crisis mode. And that
Mm,
was 2016. Um, so I knew I really enjoyed that work. I liked economic and workforce development. So I had a few connections at the State Office of Workforce Development. And so I began work there after grad school. Um, just started as someone who was basically doing grant management and compliance for WIOA, which is Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. It's a federal piece of legislation that funds workforce help for states. And ultimately, I became the youth program manager at the State Department of Workforce Development. So, helping in school and out of school youth, those who were unemployed and underemployed, find resources to um, resume help, job training, internships, all that good stuff. And so I really enjoyed that. But um, I'm the type of person who really likes to see the impact that I'm making. And I didn't really get that opportunity when I was at the state. And so I still had really good relationship with Dr. Williams, our superintendent, the state superintendent of the year. Uh,
Yes.
and he called me one day just out of the blue. We were in the middle of COVID, so I was, working from home a lot. Um, and he was like, "You want to come back to Dublin and help with our career academy?" And I said, "No, I don't want to live in Dublin again." Uh, but he is the most convincing person I've ever known. And here I am. I moved back to Dublin at the end of 2020. I actually moved a week before the 2020 presidential election. So I've been here almost 4 years. I was able to learn for a year under my predecessor, kind of and I'm very grateful for that year. I learned a lot of uh, the back of the house stuff that you don't really know, that when you think about, connecting workforce and education, there's just a lot of, you know, Perkins grant stuff and all the things that
Right, right,
if you aren't in the world, you don't know about it. Um,
right.
and for me, I was just oblivious to all that stuff. I just thought, we're a charter school system. We really use that flexibility a lot to partner with our industries. I just wanted to work on programs and all that stuff. But I really used that year to it really felt like another year of grad school. I just kind of put my head down and learned all the back end stuff. So that's a long way of telling you my professional journey to from Dublin back to Dublin. But yeah, so I've been in this role currently. This is my second year.
Okay. All right. Well, awesome. Yes, that is an extensive background, and you've had experiences in different areas that you really needed in order to do the job that you're doing at Dublin City Schools now. And with the College and Career Academy, which is tagged the way, the Workforce Accelerated Youth College and Career Academy. And I am a proud member of that academy as the business education teacher as well. And so let's just start our conversation about just getting the work done, connecting the learning to the work, because ultimately, when we're educating our students, we want them to be able to go out and get a job, to be positive contributors to the community, to be lifelong learners and effective communicators. And so, in order to do that, there are certain things that we need to be able to do within the school system to prepare them for those things. And so, let's just start off with our first question, which is, what strategies do you believe are most effective for fostering collaboration between career and technical educators within the academy?
Yeah, I'm grateful that just for our history, just so people know kind of where we were and where we are now. We were at Dublin City Schools part of a regional career academy. Um, it started about a decade ago. We were one of the first to kind of jump on the bandwagon when Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle was really, starting to carry the banner of uh, college and career academy. So we entered into a regional career academy with um, a few local school districts, counties, and but most of them were waiver systems. In fact, all of them were waiver systems except us. We were the only charter system. And you know how small town politics is. There was a lot too many cooks in the kitchen, really, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
And our students suffered at Dublin just because the campus was so far away from us. It was on the far end of the county. And as you know, our population, there is not reliable modes of transportation for those students. And so it almost was like, yeah, we have all these great programs. You can't see them if you go to Dublin High School, but I promise you, if you sign up for them, we'll take you over there and show you. And
Mm,
so it was a lot of difficult conversations. When I moved back, we were still in that career academy, but COVID had really done a number on the operational effectiveness of it
mm,
from everyone's lens, really. And so we decided to basically dissolve the regional career academy and start as a school within a school. So I say all of that to say we were we were really grateful. I'm really grateful that we had career academy teachers with the background and with the knowledge of how a career academy works and blended it into the community and culture of Dublin High School.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I have seen and what I am most grateful for is that, you know, of course we're two wings in our high school, but it really, our career academy has just become a driving force of so much good in the high school. It seems like every time 13WMAZ is down, every time, you know, Dublin High School is getting recognition, it's because of the programs or because of the pass rates that the career academy is seeing. And I think a lot of that comes from all of our collaboration. I mean, Lord, all the events that we've had this year where the Career Academy teachers are just working together, like your Princess Night Out event that you hosted. You have the cosmetology teacher pampering the students. You have our food science teacher doing like cupcakes and stuff with them. You know, so it's like it doesn't all have to be me, 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 me. And I really think
Right.
it takes people who understand the mindset uh, globally to really put that mission into work. And
Mm-hmm.
we have some instructors who have really bought into it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think what really gives us a leg up is because we're a charter system, we're able to hire people that we deem, you know, highly qualified in their field. You know, I don't necessarily need my welding instructor to have a teaching background. You know, I don't necessarily need them to have a teaching degree. And so I'm actually able to use some of that flexibility to pay our teachers kind of on a teacher pay scale, recognizing their years of experience in the industry,
Yes.
which is a
Yeah.
really, really attractive offer to people who want to give back to the
Right.
new generation. But, you know, it's not always, this is no surprise to anyone, it's not always economical to become a teacher.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and so there are a lot of career academies across the state that do that. We are certainly not the first, but it has been my most effective tool in grabbing people from industry that you would not consider typically to be teachers. And most of them have, all of them are really giving back in that way. And I think because we're able to do that, um, we've seen that collaboration almost just be natural because these are the people that come from the workplace. These people are used to working with people in a professional environment. And so it wasn't something that needed to be, this is a collaborative environment. It just
Mm-hmm.
naturally flowed. Um, so I think that's probably why we have been successful at it.
Right. Awesome. And I think that is true. Um, the educators that are there who are working the academy have been in the actual workforce and know what it's like and know what is needed for our students to go out into the actual workforce, and they have that background that supports all of that. So I concur with what you're saying. All right, so our next thing will be well, I think you've already talked about this, sharing examples of successful collaborative projects or initiative between career and technical education within the academy. Of course, we had our Princess Night Out activity. We also had our mock interview sessions where we worked together, our mechatronics department and our business department, our food and nutrition department helped us as well make that whole project something worthwhile. And so we have several different things that I think that have worked over the years. Well, over this year, I've also been able to reach out to our construction teacher to help me come up with an idea of how I can market my lollipops. So just using those, understanding the need to be able to use our skill sets is extremely important in order to make the whole program work together. So I think that we have several different things. My next question is, in your opinion, what are the main benefits of integrating academic teachers into the collaborative planning sessions with career and technical educators? And the second part of that question is, how does this integration enhance the learning experience for students?
Great question. I think that it takes a lot of paradigm shifting in traditional education to really understand and grasp that every single teacher is in workforce development.
Yes.
And I have had some success with what we did. We were fortunate enough to have Carl Vinson Institute of Government come down and do a workforce study for our entire community. And one of the most successful parts of that survey was getting feedback from our industries on what are applicants lacking, the ones that you are
Mhm.
not hiring. What do you wish that you could give them before they walked in the room for an interview? And it
Mhm.
was like pages and pages of just like raw data. And when I very first started, Dr. Williams put that in my hand and said, do something with this.
Wow.
And so what I did was I took all that data, and of course I already had an existing relationship with the development authority, so I felt like I could, reach out and talk through some of it. Um, but I used that data. I kind of looked around the state at what some of the people were doing, looked nationally, and I developed a career skills checklist for every school level. So at Dublin City Schools now, we have a elementary career skills checklist, we have a middle school career skills checklist, and we have a high school career skills checklist. And what that does is it mirrors a high school graduation checklist. When you're like, okay, do you have the four correct sciences? For example, our high school career checklist: do you have a driver's license? Do you have a professional email account? Can
Mm.
you make a resume? And those things need to be addressed before that student graduates.
Yes.
Um, I have actually had the most success with implementation at the elementary and middle school levels, with them buying into I think for elementary, it's like, do you have respectful conflict resolution skills? Do you know how to count, change out, all the things that you
Mhm.
need to be a, you know, contributing member of society. Um, and the teachers, certainly the admin and the counselors, love the career skills checklist, but some of the teachers have bought into it as well, because it directly links to what they're teaching in their classroom.
Mhm.
Um, as far as the high school level, I think that sometimes teachers, through no fault of their own, because so many expectations are put on our teachers now, and we're holding test scores over their head, but a lot of it is, I feel like we have pushed and pushed and pushed a 4-year degree or bust. A lot
Mhm.
of it is understanding and being able to speak to success outside of a 4-year degree. So the technical programs, the technical knowledge. I know you and I were talking about this the other day. I mean, there are plumbers who are making more than doctors, and
Mhm.
not just me being outlandish. That is just the facts.
Really.
And so, if we have students where we're 100% free and reduced lunch school district, we genuinely have a good number of students every day who come into our building that do not know where their next meal is coming from.
Mm.
We do not have time to saddle them with student loan debt if they
Right.
show if they show an aptitude for a technical skill, where
Mhm.
we can get them graduated from high school and even get 2 or 3 technical certificates of credit at a technical college, and start making money the day after they graduate high school.
Right.
That is
Right.
success in any way you measure it.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of it is bigger than one school or one place, but that doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
to change the minds and kind of change the mindset around education. Um,
Right.
that's why we have a lot of we really embrace. I almost said option B, accelerated career. They've renamed it.
Right.
Where we have students who are like, I don't want to come to school. Okay, I didn't really want to come to school either when I was 15. If you're to the point where you don't want to come to school and it's impacting your grades, but you already know, oh, I really like working on cars or working on trucks. Okay, well let's get these 2 years finished. Let's get these 9 high school credits finished, and then we're gonna get you out to Oconee Fall Line for you to graduate with the same high school diploma and have those 2 technical certificates of credit so you can go work at auto repair shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it is just not knowing what's available.
Mm.
And um, it's my job, it's our job to, and not for this to come off, offensive anyway, but to educate our non-career or technical teachers on the vast amount of programs that we have, and not just educate them, but empower them to
That's key.
also ally with us to help those kids get identified and help those kids get put into a career program that we offer that they're passionate about and they have an aptitude for.
Right. Right.
One of the things that I have to go over every year is state determined performance levels. And so, what the
Mm-hmm.
state does is they look at academic proficiency in reading, social studies, math, and science.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we have an entire school number for how many percentage of students we have academically proficient um, in those subjects.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am having to answer for, and the data that I have to own, is the percent of students who are in a CTAE pathway who are
Mm-hmm.
academically proficient. And
Mm.
we just shared these numbers with my board yesterday during our board meeting. We are outpacing the rest of the school by about 40 percentage points.
Mm.
So, what does that say to the rest of the school and the administration? Is if you get a kid in a CTAE pathway that they like, the academic
Mm-hmm.
proficiency comes with it because
Wow.
they're more plugged in, they care more, it relates more, it just makes more sense. And it's not a knock on regular education subjects at all, but sometimes a kid's not really worried about Romeo and Juliet. And so, and I love Romeo and Juliet. That's no shade. I'm not trying to be, but like real life is happening, and real life is
Right.
happening to our kids. And sometimes it's like if we can show them we are giving you an opportunity to make that real life a little bit easier or a little bit better, because we have a lot of kids who are struggling. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they buy in, and that buy-in is crucial, but that student buy-in doesn't happen without adult buy-in.
Right.
And we don't have time to tolerate no adult buy-in because these are kids' lives that are at stake.
Yes.
I will get on a soapbox and talk for 3 hours. So that's just kind of my spiel on it. But thank you for
Right.
the question.
So what I hear you saying is, for our academic teachers as well as our CTAE teachers, we need to have a collaborative buy-in on understanding that we are all preparing our kids or our young people to be workers,
Yep.
regardless of whether or not we're doing Romeo and Juliet, or if we are in our business communications course. Those communications that we're learning in both areas have something to do with each other. The communication in your business class, you're using that based off of what you've learned in doing your speeches in your English, your AP English course. So you're doing the public speaking. So they all tie together. And when we can work together to show our students that if we have the buy-in, they will have the buy-in as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want me to kind of talk to a program that we do that kind of addresses that. Um,
Sure.
okay, yeah. So we, and again, we're not the first place to do this. I am a huge fan of Admire and Acquire.
Yes.
We have an externship program at our school system
Mm-hmm.
that lets teachers, and of course it's open to career academy teachers, but what I really stress is academic teachers to take part in this experience, and not just high school level teachers, middle and elementary school teachers as well, because
Yes.
this is one tangent, but if you're talking about workforce development only at the high school, it's too late. Uh, and I think
Right.
that an externship really is a great tool to open up the eyes of the adults in the building that the students spend the most time with, to let them know not only what is available job wise, career wise in the community. For us,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're a pretty rich manufacturing based community for the size that we are. We have several international manufacturers in Dublin. You can live in Dublin and make a great career and a great wage for yourself and your family.
Right.
But the kids just see a big building out by the interstate.
Right.
And so if we can not only take the kids to see, but if we are going through ours is a week long process. You go through kind of like a truncated onboarding process, and then you, as the teacher who goes on the experience, have questions to ask that relate it to what you teach in the classroom every day. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we have a math teacher going out to Erdrich, which is one of our, it's a German manufacturer in town, they make the rails that F-150 seats slide it back and forth on. If they can talk to that about what I'm teaching you right now in whatever math you choose, algebra, geometry, any of it, is directly related to you getting a good job as soon as you are done with school, it helps us. We don't even have to sell the message. It should just almost bleed through the lesson. And
Right.
we've done that for the past 2 years now. And I'm grateful that we have themed elementary schools. One of our
Mm-hmm.
elementary schools is a STEAM school, and so I opened that up. I opened the Erdrich externship up to, you know, those science and math teachers. Like, just look. And thankfully we were able to secure a grant that I pay those teachers for their time, because it happens during the summer, so I'm not asking them to do, you know, unpaid work.
Right.
And so
Right.
it benefits everybody. I've gotten great feedback on it, and I'm looking to expand it. And you know, I'm thankful for any teacher that would take a week off of their summer and, you know, go into a workshop and learn about, you know, how car parts are manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
But that has been a very successful tool and has opened a lot of eyes for us.
Yes, I think that is an excellent tool. Um, Giving the academic teachers the perspective of what their subject actually looks like in the workforce, and being able to communicate that to the students during the lesson. So I think that would be that's awesome. I think that I'm not sure who else might be doing it in the state of Georgia, but the more we have that, I think the better off our school system will be, our students will be, and ultimately our community. Because when we have students who are able to get the job and actually do the work, they're able to take care of themselves and anybody else they decide to bring along. And so that makes our community an even better place. And so, with that being said, we've talked about a lot of different things, and I just truly appreciate you taking this time to just give us your perspective and share some of the different things that we're doing at Dublin High School through our College and Career Academy, The Way. And I'm sure that our teacher, as well as the other students in our class, will be able to take something from this and also be able to present it to their colleagues at their school as well. So, once again, I thank you for your time. I appreciate you. And let's go, dogs.
Go dogs.
Thank you and have a great weekend.
You too. I'll see you Monday.
Okay, bye bye.